Well, hello everyone. Once again, welcome back to Jacob's Ladder. Part 2 in full effect right now. We don't know what happened, but maybe this show is too hot. Too hot to handle. Maybe I'm a little bit too over the target. All right, I'll bring you all back, okay? Just in case you didn't see part 1. This is weird. This is what we're going to talk about. We're going to talk about the laptop. We're going to talk about the false light of the world who's been kicked off of Twitter. We're going to talk about all that stuff. We know that some bad people were kicked off, some bad people were brought back on, but that's not the big deal. The big deal is the weird amount of time and the amount of subscribers that Ye had. 322, the number of the order, the number of the skull and bones. It's also 32 weeks and 2 days from that bad monster's birthday. I had said in part 1 that I thought this felt a little bit like a work, that it was a little weird. You see, Ye, that's the Chinese name for light. He changed his name that way because, of course, he is the light. Spooky stuff. Well, take a look at the date right there. I shared this earlier. This is what happened, was he was kicked off at a certain amount of time, an amount of time that was very strange and coincidental. 322, we found out in the last show, was also a term that's used for people throwing a game to actually win. The day that he was kicked off was on 12/2/2022. That's 3/2/2. At the same time was 2:10 in the morning. 3/2/2 backwards. Where's the hat? The 2023 hat backwards? 322. The order of the death cult. Spooky stuff. All these weird connections. Weird connections. Like, why was it that Elon was sharing out that skull and bones on that day? Which, Defeat the Elite said, was the 322nd day of the year. In leap years, that is. Very strange. Stranger still was the fact that Ye was kicked off for actually sharing what many are calling a bad symbol. One that is known for, hate and terrible things. Do me a favor. Can you hear me okay? Is everything working all right? Because I do need to know if it's working. Makes me feel better that I know that I'm not talking for no reason at all, But that symbol that you see there, and that weird-looking guy, that goofy-looking guy, he's the cult leader. His name's Claude. He's part of a big cult. Yeah, that's right. That's right. I'm going to pull up everything that you can hear. Okay, so you can hear me good. Good. Yes, loud and clear. That's good. It makes me feel better because I got to tell you, I'm not used to my system just going and crashing like that. That's very strange. And it makes me wonder if maybe because this is the part where it went weird, right? So now that I've caught you up on all the strange kind of, conspiratorial stuff, now we're not saying that they're literal societies like that, but we know that there are. Kerry and Bush and all these people, they've talked about all this weird stuff, right? So do you think that this was all is this all some big thing? Like, is that why Ye was making jokes and he was going, oh, I love. It was ridiculous, right? It was almost like you're watching a ridiculous movie. They were both wearing the NASA hat. I pointed this out in the last couple of shows. You're going to find, if you're new to the channel, that I've talked about a lot of this stuff ahead of time. And now it's actually manifesting, which makes it very exciting. But let's first talk about that strange symbol. That symbol is it's like it's an alien cult, and it has to do with clones. Cloning is like a big deal. Yeah, the Rallians. Rael, that's that guy Claude. They made fun of him on SNL. They've done all sorts of things. I got to tell you, it's like a feel-good cult. This guy Claude, back in the 70s, I guess, alien visited him, about 4 foot tall, said, this is the deal. This is a farm, basically. We've cloned humans and, this is the deal. So, you're meant to live your life and be happy. And they really like boobies. That like the whole thing's about boobies. They have like a whole movement about how women should be able to, go topless. That's part of it. But they also do some really good work. They do some good work with mutilation in other countries when people are born. We'll say women are born. It's a terrible thing. They're mutilated so they can't enjoy. So that it's just this terrible thing. So they're doing good work there. I mean, it's a strange religion, right? And that he's the prophet, right? Here's the prophet. And so that's what's strange about all this is that the symbol that he shared was that. Now, I could say that Ye was, maybe he went on Jones. They were doing weird things. Jones was wearing a reptile mask like an alien. Yeah. They're all wearing weird masks. Kanye was wearing the Balenciaga mask. Weird, right? Right after we just talked about this. I remember a lot of people thought that was the Jesus guy, and on my last show, I had, because I did the show like right after his appearance, and I felt like, what if he's going through a hard time? What if this is some kind of an emotional break? It felt really bad because you never know, but it's just like when you start to put everything together and you start to look at everything, and now you bring aliens into the mix, it's like, this is a really bad script, but I'm glad to be part of the show. I'm glad to be like, I'm giving you like, maybe I should be like a movie review show. This is it. I'm giving this like it's a strong C. The plot is a strong C. It's not, I could have come up with a better plot. This guy is very interesting, Claude. But that's it. Raalism, like Israel, the word God, the Lord in scripture many times comes from the word Elohim. Elohim is a plural word. All right. We're made in the image of Elohim, plural, which, we're a pluralistic society. So we're made in that image. Elohim, in the Anunnaki, the ones that came down from heaven. This is Sumerian mythology that we were, that God created us and of course created them. And then they came down and messed with our genetic makeup to further evolve our species. This is the story. Now, I wouldn't put a lot of stock in the whole Anunnaki thing and Nibiru and, what these interesting individuals are thinking with the clones and everything else. It's very strange. Stranger still is that Kanye's into cloning. And if you remember, he did his video Famous. I don't know if you remember that video where he had like everybody and everybody's like, oh, that's it. He's exposing. They always thought that he was exposing people. That's right. Ye's, he's there to expose everybody. But this was the Alex Jones show. This is what he was wearing. He was wearing a lizard mask, reptilians. I'm surprised he wasn't wearing his NASA outfit. You remember the NASA has some dark origins, very weird stuff, witchcraft and all this, like occult stuff, like sex magic and ritual and weird things. And they do things openly, supposedly. That's what I'm told. I'm not in any, like at all, like nothing, not even a religion anymore. It's like I think everybody's lost their mind. I just want to know God. I want to be kind. I just want to take care of my family. I want to stay away from people that are wearing weird masks because that's strange. So Jones wore this reptile mask when he was with Kanye in the beginning. It's, what's really disquieting about all of this is the fact that everybody's talking about the surface level stuff, okay? But their whole religion, the Royalists, they're into cloning. It's like a big thing. Like they said back in the day, they cloned the first one, Eve in Israel or something like that. This gets weirder and weirder, right? Weirder and weirder. So when I start thinking, interesting, it's like we would then be like a zoo. Would that be the case? That's the story. Now here, for the people that see, I'm a believer in creationism. I believe that there is a God. I believe that God created all of us, everyone. I believe that God is in the midst of creating everything. And if artificial intelligence becomes sentient, I do believe that the Spirit of the living God can in fact also say, I created you in my image. I do believe that because everything exists in God. So anything that exists outside of God would be It wouldn't exist if God is all there is. So my point is that a lot of people get hung up in that, oh, well, they're aliens. Well, they're demons. They're fallen angels. The scriptures talk about how the sons of God came down. They saw the daughters of men, and they had a little boom chicka boom boom. They got together and they had relations, and then they created giants. These giants, these Nephilim, is what they're called. This is a strange thing because, of course, there's a lot of evidence that giants have existed. You ever see that picture on the internet where they had like the helmet and the scuba divers going under there in the helmet? See the pictures of the people that are, with the bones? All that stuff's weird. But the story goes, whether it has to do with the Anunnaki and Nibiru or anything else, the idea is that there are these beings that came from heaven, this is Rylus, and they, genetically modified and then created humans in what they think is their image, which was a big no-no, supposedly, I guess. But I don't think anything's a no-no when it comes to God. So it doesn't discount the idea of God. It just gives us another way that God creates things. Once again, I'm not saying I believe it, but I'm saying if it's true, it doesn't upset me at all. Because we're all made in the image of God. Wouldn't that be like a clone? Like a clone? That would be weird, right? Tell me in the chat if this is making any sense or if I'm sounding like a total meatball. I hope I'm sounding like a meatball. This is the movie that's coming out right now. Very shortly, I should say. A lot of people are very excited about it. Guardians of the Galaxy. Who here's a Marvel fan? Let me know in the chat because, of course, there's a lot of weird stuff that goes on there as well. But this is it's a pretty well-loved part of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. And many people are excited about this because one of the last movies ended with Adam being cloned, being created to destroy the Guardians of the Galaxy. The Guardians of the Galaxy would be like those that were like God predestined, the 144,000. Then you would have a creation to destroy them, Adam Warlock. Warlock is it's a wizard. And when I shared on Twitter, as a little breadcrumb, which I like to do, you know that, I like to share this weird stuff out with all of you. When I shared that out, I wrote MAGA not even thinking. I didn't know he actually is known as Magus. I mean, like, what are the odds that is literally the actual name is Magus? Just like Simon Magus, who tried to buy the power of God. Witchcraft. Clones. We just had Black Adam, right? Black Adam. We talked about the Antichrist. So we have this picture that's being played out in the world that there is this like the system that's really about to take hold. And the question is, who do we believe? Who's on our side? Who's true? Let God be true. That's what I say. Every man a liar. So when I see that Adam Warlock would be a savior for those that created him in their image, is the the bad guy, I guess, in Guardians of the Galaxy. It's very strange. At the exact same time, Star Wars has teamed up with Columbia, the Clone Wars collection. It's an interesting logo, too. If you know anything about Columbia is, it's Lady Liberty, becomes Lady Liberty. It's a goddess. Some would actually say that is the whore of Babylon. Who am I to say, right? We did a little thing over here in like historic something part of Long Island, and they had Miss Columbia came out. They did a whole reenactment. It was very interesting. It's very interesting. Clones everywhere you look. And there's actually news articles that are saying, look, no, when you do the PCR test, nobody's cloning you from that. It's like, it should be the least of your concerns. I mean, at this point, it's like, are they going to clone you? Let them clone you. I mean, I don't know. There's like so much other things that you got to worry about today. But Netflix has launched its Game Loft Farmville clone. Okay. This is where the show is going to get very weird. A while back, I did a show with Donald Trump because he's the picture of Apollo. Apollo is known for someone who can bring like a plague and also cure it. And Artemis, of course, we know, Artemis with the moon mission and everything else, they're twins. The hunt, she is the goddess of the hunt and more. She becomes other gods, just as Apollo becomes other gods. But we have all this symbolism. So I did this show a while back, Apollo and Artemis. Now, what's interesting was they called Truth Social the Twitter clone. Never really did anything for me at first, like when I heard this, till I was doing this show. And I thought to myself, Truth Social's the red, Twitter's the blue. I go, the red and the blue. Now remember, I'm just a speculator. All we're doing is speculating. And I haven't even gotten to, like, if you have a problem with what we're doing so far, it's about to get even stranger. But, I told you to buckle up because there's going to be a lot of shakeup. There's a lot of shakeup with the thread that Elon just put out. A lot of shakeup already going on, right? So let's just take a look at this. Let's just take a look at the bomb shell. Isn't that funny? Bomb. I laugh at this because that's exactly how I described it. It was the bomb, the laptop bomb. And to see this happening now, to me, is just so incredibly wild because I feel like, well, maybe we are really headed for something pretty profound. Pretty profound indeed. This is something that I've been talking about for years, right? Right. Like you look at the, let me see if I have another one of these so I can show you. Let's take a look at this top one. When it says 2 years, that's almost 3 years, by the way. So that was before you top left-hand corner. Will they try to fake it? The fatal head wound of Revelation being revealed. Now, I know that a lot of you are very familiar with this show, and because I've talked about it a lot. I've talked about it a lot, about how I had that dream, and I said, don't count him out. Just because it looks like he lost everything, it's going to be brought back in such a mighty way. I put a laptop in Biden's hand. Did this whole video about Nebuchadnezzar. Partier loved the drugs and everything else, and I did this whole show where I talked about the two of them and how the writing was on the wall and how everything was going to be revealed and that we're biding our time. Not thinking I put the laptop in there because I explained the dream that I had years ago about the day that we were entering into from 2015. I'm going to show you that in a second. So once the news of the laptop came out, I was immediately like, that's it. That's the reason why I had this dream. It makes sense. All of it's connected. The domed building in the back, the breaking through the fences, and this laptop bong, which politically would be a bomb. There's our president holding it. By the way, our president was just asking us, I hope you think I'm doing a good job. Elon said, there's something about this I like. Interesting. Well, as you see on the right-hand side over the last 2 years, and it says 1 year, but really it's more like 2. I did all of these interesting shows, and there's more, but these are the ones that really stood out to me. When it says, God has spoken, a corrupt ruler will be replaced, it was a very strange video having especially to do with this laptop coming out. I'm hoping I'm still there. It says that we disconnected for a second. But what I found really strange was this video about the Trojan horse on the very bottom. And you see Mike Lindell holding the laptop this time, about 2 years ago. And it says, "We are in. We're in. The Trojan horse is in." It's weird because at that point in time, there was a discovery of a piece of what they would consider to be the Trojan horse, and it was found inside the walls of Troy. They thought it was a myth, but it's real. And at the exact same time, there was a hacker named Code Monkey, and this was like big news about a hack and about a Trojan horse that was being sent in. And I said, it's going to come in and it's going to reveal everything. It's going to expose everything. Ironically, many people then compared Musk to that when he came in. He was a Trojan horse when he first came on to Twitter, I believe, when he came on the board and everything else. So over the last, couple of months or so, we've seen a big, quick progression, right? There at the Met Gala, clones, strange. Then, of course, we had he brought the sync in. That's when he took over, Voice of the People. Then if you look a little bit lower on the bottom left-hand corner, these moves, these controversial moves. Did you know that he tweeted out a picture of a Yahtzee? Interesting. Just very strange. Almost like showcasing what was to come, if you will. And then, of course, the results came in for Trump, and he's back here. Much wow. It's like the whole story is being revealed. And now he's doing this big-time release of information and has said that definitely there was interference in the elections. This is earth-shattering. Releasing this thread of like people that were blocked, like one of them, he's gained like another 150,000 to 200,000 subs, James Woods. Finding out that the Biden administration was like saying, shut this guy up, whatever, I guess. But it was interesting to watch. But you know what else was interesting to watch? Was on the 28th of November, Elon sending out, I wake up, there's another PSYOP. I honestly don't care about this particular PSYOP. Right before all the kooky dooky mask-wearing madness is revealed. Like right now, everybody's thinking, wow, everything's so disgusting, right? So brutal. And now we told them for so long it was real, the laptop. And now we're going to know. Let me just show this to you. Hopefully everybody's still there. Thank you very much. Do me a favor, hit the like. I always forget to mention, hit the like. It's so important to do that. All right, so this is my essay, which I'm sure you've seen. My warning to everyone was ignored. I had this dream of a dome building. The whole thing was like kind of like Nebuchadnezzar falling over, which is ironic because then I end up comparing Trump to all of that. The idol stood looking over all of Israel. There was a presentation that took place, and for whatever reason, I was calling it like Harry Potter 3. Harry, right? How long have we been talking about hair and Harry and witchcraft? I understood the dream that everyone was there, was watching Christianity. They would call it witchcraft. It was witchcraft. This is all what's going on. Everybody's watching it. I was then told by someone I didn't see that the statue was called Laish and that the name meant lion. We know anybody who's compared to a lion all the time, about to go and devour a bunch of his enemies. Next, I didn't have my wallet, which is ironic because everybody's talking about their wallet right now, their crypto wallet. At that point, the gates came down and everyone started running around chaotically. As I walked away, I found a reader of mine who was carrying a briefcase that opened up and it looked very much like a complex bright red. I was told by the man holding it that it was a bong to get high with, disguised as a laptop. Then he told me that the name was the new Sussman, which is very strange because actually after I had that dream, there was an actual laptop from a girl named Lily Sussman who visited Israel and they shot it up. That's that laptop that I've been sharing around. Just weird. Now, did God give me this dream? And, what would be happening at this point? I don't know. But it is strange. And it's something that we've been talking about, right? It's like I've been saying, it's going to happen, it's going to happen, it's going to happen. So that when he comes back, Trump, I mean, and he's back in power again, and everybody's like, hurrah, is it a legit thing? You know, and I don't know how he's going to come back, especially now that he just had these people. I mean, he has them over for dinner. You do a little research if you're a presidential candidate. Is very constantly being booted off OBS is very suspect to me. This has happened too many times tonight. So I'm going to close with saying this. I don't know if any of this is real, but I do hope that there are people working on behalf of good. Some of the things that I see happening, I believe, are very positive. Very positive. A lot of the stuff, very negative. The positive, I'm concerned, could turn to the negative if it's meant to. If this is all part of the, show. Otherwise, we could be seeing the scales tipping. If none of this was orchestrated, right? If the 322 and all that stuff and the royalist movement and the clones and the this and the that and all this stuff spiritually that's playing out. If all that's just coincidental, random goofiness that I get to throw at you so that our minds can just enjoy and entertain the idea that maybe God's trying to wake us up and say, don't put your faith in this system. Don't put your faith in this system. Don't put your faith in this system. Love, put your faith in me. Because if the aliens do come down, right, say they do. I'm not saying there are. Demons, for all I care, fallen angels, Nephilim, whatever you want to call them. Say they do come down. It's not going to mess with my faith. And it shouldn't mess with yours. So, do me a favor. This was a tough show to do. I've never had such technical difficulty. Will you please give me a like? Will you share this link around? Tell people about the channel. I think we just broke, if I can check, I think we just broke 195,000. Yeah, we're at 195,000 right now. Thank you for all of you that hit subscribe and for all that check the bell. Make sure that you are subscribed. If you want to get yourself an I Am a Witness thing or which one is it? This one over here or buckle up shirt, all that stuff, all the links in the description. But just have the best day ever. I love you so much and I hope that this was fun.